Welcome to the counterculture counterattack. Welcome to the RazörForce Offensive, where we gulag the libs and glass the groypers in Minecraft. Each and every week, I am your intrepid host, Razor Fist, alongside the testicular Terran Gell. Hello, sir.
Welcome, one and all.
Ready to tear into this shit. Fortunately, there's absolutely nothing going on, so there's nothing to talk about. See you guys later. What the fuck?
Play the outro.
Dude, the freaking news cycle is moving like greased lightning. It is freaking retarded. I think maybe we should start off with, I don't know. So Thomas Massie has behaved like a retard for a good long while now. I was taking shit for giving him shit since about 2021, 2022. Trump wasn't even in office and he was goddamn grandstanding. I fucking hate that faggot. And I've been pretty consistent on it, but now he's decided to take a different tack. Now, there's been a lot of claims that he's way, way ahead in his primary race. I have no idea if that's true or not, but he has recently unleashed some ads where he's essentially calling his opponent, what's his name, Ed Galarain or what? Ed Alamarain. That's what we're going to call him.
Yeah.
Ed Alamarain. He's claiming that he's not MAGA enough, Terran.
Oh, really?
That's the issue. And apparently there was something going on. Now, I've looked into this a little bit where Ed Alamarain had unregistered as a Republican after Trump became the nominee. And of course, the implication there is, well, he resigned from the Republican Party in disgust. Now, far be it from me to criticize anyone for leaving the Republican Party in disgust for any reason whatsoever, up to and including it being a day ending in Y. But that is apparently the narrative. Now, apparently there's a little bit more to that. I did look into it. It doesn't turn out that was actually what happened. But regardless, do you happen to have that ad? You do. Scroll down and just go ahead and play it.
Yeah, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
It is kind of wall of text. This is its latest attack ad against Alamarain.
Quality, full screen,
it's
vertical
only
hold.
a game.
I'm Thomas Massie, and I approve this message.
Woke Eddie Gowrine and liberal out-of-state special interest groups have run millions in ads trying to tell you how pro-Trump he is. But what they haven't told you is woke Eddie Gowrine abandoned President Trump's
Woke
Republican
Eddie
Party.
Gowrine.
Already? This feels like a 60-year-old man asking his 20-year-old nephew,
Oh, man.
what are the words young people use?
It kind of is. It's like, no cap, yo.
Dereliction of his MAGA duty.
His MAGA duty.
His MAGA duty. What the fuck? This is from Thomas Massie, dude. The guy who just called Trump the Epstein administration. All right, go ahead.
Oh, my God.
Woke Eddie left the Republican Party
Woke
right
Eddie.
after President Trump won the Republican nomination in May of 2016. Just check his voter registration.
You
That's
clearly
right.
did.
Trump becomes the party leader. The MAGA movement is taking off. Disgusted by what he sees, woke Eddie Gowrine turns his back on Trump and walks away. But it gets
Bro, I
even
think
worse.
attacking the guy's
After Eddie
toupee
Gowrine-
probably would be more effective. What is going on with that quaff there? What is, not that Massie has much room to talk, but
and left Donald Trump's GOP for over 4 years. Guess when he finally changed his registration back to the Republican Party? That's right, only after President Trump was no longer in office and Joe Biden had become president in 2021. Woke Eddie Gowrine, not just a Trump hater, a Trump traitor.
from Massie? From fucking Massie? Where am I? Did I fall down? What even is this, bro? Okay, I want your unvarnished reaction to this in real time, Taryn. I want your
So, assuming what is in the message is actually correct, yeah, fuck that guy. But also,
well, it's not.
coming
It's
from-
actually not correct. If you look into it, it's actually not correct. But
Coming from Thomas Massie, holy shit! I mean, you go right ahead. Explain. Give us the Thomas Massie background for the past year.
Well, see also Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look, there's a group of, I don't know, you want to call them incendiary Republicans, libertarians, head trauma victims, who were very, very comfortable being the ineffectual pissant opposition, never getting a damn thing done under Biden. Extremely comfortable in that role. And it's like once Trump came along, all of a sudden, all these people who were effectively fucking mute under Biden rediscovered their vocal cords. They suddenly never saw a soapbox that weren't worth standing on. And that's my operative issue with Thomas Massie again and again. His principles are transitory. They were out to fucking lunch under Biden, but he suddenly rediscovered them under Trump. I can completely understand having your hardwired, hard-earned principles that are simply inviolable, and you can't, for the sake of party loyalty, cross that line. But Thomas Massie has shown those are negotiable regardless, with or without fucking Trump. Look at the immigration bill that he finally wound up voting on after outright attempting to prevent it from being tabled at all. If a single person had crossed the aisle and voted with Thomas Massie, that bill never would have been tabled. And so that was plan A. Plan A was, don't let the immigration bill be tabled at all. So plan B was what? Well, shit, now I'm twisting in the wind. Better vote for it so I don't look like a complete fucking retard. How is that being principled? On what planet is that being principled? And speaking of having no fucking principles, did you see Tim Pool fucking weighed in on this?
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yet another.
Oh, good.
Yep. Yeah. Yet another money cock came flopping by, and he dropped to both knees and began to gobble greedily. Thomas Massie. So apparently the new these must be the official Lulbert bitching orders that we're going to talk about how Ed Almarain is not sufficiently MAGA, which he may not be, right? But the story that they just pushed in that particular ad is actually not true. But still, he may not be MAGA. Who fucking knows? We know, however, that Thomas Massie is not. So, yeah, that's his. That's Tim Pool's read on this. Did you actually play that clip real quick? What are they talking about? Oh, this is his clip. Actually, you know what? Pause it. Let's assess him because I haven't seen much of Ed Almarain. I'm not impressed with the haircut.
The fact the GOP decided to run a geriatric, never Trump retard like Ed Almarain in Kentucky is very telling. The guy gives me Joe Biden vibes. Can't even properly read a teleprompter.
Hold on. Pause. Have you seen Thomas Massie give a public speaking performance?
I mean, just the times he's yelling in Congress.
He is not Demosthenes, folks. He's not. I'm not saying he's the worst public. He's not Joe Biden, but I doubt this guy is either. But let's watch it. I haven't seen a whole lot of Ed Almarain. Let's give it the old community college try.
Tom Massie stands with the ladies of the View. Tom Massie.
Okay,
hold on.
I see what they're talking about.
I'm trying to suppress it.
This is glorious.
It's just an accent.
Ladies of the View.
I'm all right.
Hey, you're from Texas. You don't get to talk.
Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. I'm good.
Shitty Bush song, yeah.
Stands with the ladies of the View. Mr. President, we stand with you. Fight, fight, fight.
Okay. I'm done. Check, please.
Fight.
Oh, man.
A voice crack in the middle of the... They're claiming, by the way, the new story, I don't know if you can find that on Twitter. I did not link it to you. They're claiming that there was a 17-point spike in favor of Thomas Massie after this rally. The problem is that the total percentage, if you add up both percentages, I guess Al Galrain is at what, 51% or something, and now they claim that Thomas Massie is at 53%. Anyone crunching those numbers? they add up to more than 100%. That's the new talking point, guys. There is a shepherding operation going on with it. But either way, like, dude, I think the beanie's cutting off the circulation to the Brazil nut-sized organ Tim Pool confuses with a fucking brain. I just don't. Here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get about the Ed Alamarain, Thomas Massie byplay. It appears the Tim Tool Massie fluffer logic is as follows. You can't vote for Massie's opponent. He used to be a never-Trumper. Instead, you should vote for Thomas Massie, who's a never-Trumper, right the fuck now. Like, what has Massie been for the last 2 years? He's been Mr. Never Trump. Now, granted, Tweedle Tim does this thing where he takes shit for a hot take only to come out later and say he was only pretending to be retarded. It's essentially plot armor for his credibility, so who knows if he actually means this. Sometimes he's got his tongue in his cheek, sometimes not, but, if being cloyingly insincere was the only indication Timbo's telling a joke, I've been waiting 12 fucking years for him to say psych on his entire podcast career. So, any read? Do you think he's being serious here, Taryn?
God. Are we talking about Tim Pool here?
Yeah.
Nah. I just are we actually trying? No. I can't. I just can't agree.
Do you think he's serious or not?
About what specifically?
Tim Pool. Do you think so? Tim Pool does this thing where he'll do a hot take and then he takes shit for it and then he claims he's just joking.
It's hard to take him seriously. Like, he tries to say something.
Is it the beanie? Is it the?
I mean, yeah. I always assume sarcasm with the beanie, but then he expects people to take him seriously.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it is a convenient device through which he can retreat from unpopular positions. That's what I think it is. I think Tim Pool holds a fucking straw poll before he picks out his socks in the morning. That's what I fucking think. Jesus,
yeah, he's testing the waters.
He's got the old Mike Cernovich syndrome going on.
I didn't.
Happy High Guard Day, by the way, Taryn.
Oh, is it dead?
Happy High Guard. It is deader than Concord, but
I don't know. Concord's pretty fucking dead.
It's a land speed. It was funny, dude. I got a comment on our top 5 turds of 2025 video, and they were like,
which one you're talking about.
They were like, why didn't you put Concord on here? And I was like, bro, they killed it in like 24 hours. I have to be able to play the game to review it.
Yeah.
How the fuck was I going to put it in top 5 turds? If I blinked, I missed that game.
I didn't find the poll, but I did find this.
Yep.
Read who it's by.
Oh, no.
CNN.
Ah, there we are. There we are.
Defiant Thomas Massie takes on the MAGA machine.
And if you want to be charitable, you can say, well, it's just CNN trying to divide MAGA, as we know they're intent on doing. But you will know them by who they're signal boosted by, rather. You will know. He's had a couple of weeks. He's had a couple of weeks, shall we say. He put an Iran war poll up that he immediately regretted and then deleted. I think I sent that to you, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. I think I did. Do you have that?
Massie.
He's had a week, gang.
Lying though.
And then it came out like by the end of that week. Well, shoot, see if you can find it. It was like the second thing I linked to you.
Massie's Islamic donors. Oh, we'll get to that. No, you did not send me any poll data.
Okay, well, whatever. Here we go. I'll just go ahead and put it up myself then. Right here. Oops, hold on.
Oh, was that it?
No. Where is it?
'Cause you
There
sent
it is.
me that.
Sorry, it was the wrong link to the. It was correct thread, wrong link.
Oh, I see. That's why I didn't see it.
A poll on whether or not we should go to war with Iran, and he went ahead and deleted it. And then here's the great irony. Here's the freaking pristine irony. Mr. Botted Interaction in 90% of his fucking tweets claimed it was botted, which, to be fair, it probably was, like everything else on X. But for fuck's sake, buddy,
12 million views.
this bitch can't break wind without it being botted by somebody in fucking Bogota. The fuck? Shut your fucking yap. Jesus. Speaking of which, speaking of Bogota, speaking of Qatar and fucking Syria and all the other places that signal boost the dude, the one you were just referring to.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. The political donors.
Massie's
Now,
overwhelmingly.
this is some weapons grade irony from all the people who have accused me, the guy who's less popular, for saying the for not even for defending Israel. I've never made a video defending Israel in my life. If I have, go ahead and find it. It should be easy. All my videos are fucking public. But just for not carrying the water and juice spurging from dawn to damn dusk, because I'm tired of it, and it's old, and it's not funny, and it's not interesting, and it's not insightful, and you happen to be full of shit, right? But this is ironic for the people who run around accusing everyone of being paid by fucking Israel $7,000 or whatever the fuck. Apparently, Thomas Massie has received lump payments of $7,000 each from faceless figures out of fucking Qatar and Syria and Turkey and Bumfuckistan. Zoom in on that.
Zoom. Enhance. I can't.
Come
Fuck.
on and zoom. Come on and zoom.
Let me just open it up in a new window. Here.
There you go. Fantastic. Mahruk Ranim, great American patriot. Mohammed Mahruk. Boy, that's a big family right there.
Yeah,
Zaid
Mahruk.
Mahruk.
What
Ranim.
the fuck?
What the fuck? And do you see the monetary amount? $7,000.
7,000, 5,000, 3,500.
The dude took the 7,000. This is on opensecrets.org, by the way. You can check this for yourself. I would know this page anywhere. Hussein, always a good sign when Hussein's donating to you.
Always Mahruk is this specific family since 2015.
Yeah, quite a while. The Azure Nightmare Snagglepuss be like, but Razor, why would Iran nuke one of China's colonies? We'll talk about that in a moment.
Oh, anti-Zionist America PAC.
What the fuck? That's a PAC?
Citizens Against AI PAC corruption.
Wow.
These the specific family or whatever. Green for Congress.
Names. Yeah.
Ellison for Congress. Roe for
Although
Congress.
if you were going to use a fake name, wouldn't you use like Dan Chesterton or something?
Marjorie Taylor Greene's People Over Politicians Committee.
There you go. Did you see she announced she's going to be doing a new piece of magic? She's going to be doing a podcast. As
how original.
Surprise. I guess because they wouldn't hire her on for The View or something.
I know we've been in the podcast domain for like the past 8 years or so.
Right.
But holy crap, is it just me or is that shit ramping up?
What do you mean?
Like just recently, like every celebrity I've ever heard of has started a podcast.
Dude, Craig Ferguson ended his podcast. Do you know why?
Why?
I mean, yeah, he had his other reasons. I'm kind of busy. I'm whatever. But his main reason for stopping his podcast was, I think there's enough podcasts. Godspeed, Craig Ferguson. Godspeed.
Now they run him out of that too. Bastards.
Yes. No, but apparently she's going to be starting a podcast. So my favorite thing was the statement when she announced it was something like, and that you've never seen anything like it before. I'm like, really? There's not enough podcasts on the internet doing nothing but whining about Israel? Shit. That's what the internet needs. Fuck. That could be a brand new genre, guys. Holy shit. We're all doing the backstroke in a great big tub of originality. Hey, Razor, off topic, but just finished the newest Solomon Kane novel. Not sure if you talked about it before. Never been so disappointed and disgusted. Total shame. New Solomon Kane novel. There are no Solomon Kane novels that Robert E. Howard didn't write. What the hell? Are you
Robert E.
about?
Howard is
Did
dead.
they-
What are you talking about?
Did they do to Solomon Kane? Hold on. I got to look this up now. You want to go ahead and read some super chats while I'm doing that?
Certainly. Dunadan, son of the West. So, Chairman Mark is violating the Logan Act now. Sweet, gentle Jesus, can we finally just court-martial Captain Gollum, please?
Okay, there is a new Solomon Kane book, Suffer the Witch. Okay, by Sean Hamill. Who's Sean Hamill? I'm going to look up who Sean Hamill is. Oh, no. He earned praise from Stephen King. I've heard enough. Oh, no. This is unfortunate. Okay, I might bring this on screen. I might bring this on screen right now. This is not good. Yeah. So this is the guy who's writing. This is the guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who should be writing Solomon Kane. Absolutely. The the soy stench coming off this guy in fumes. That's good. I like to hear that. That's great. Hold on. Sean Hamill, Solomon Kane. Let's take a look at this here. So this is our new Solomon Kane book. Suffer the Witch. I wonder if the witch is misunderstood. Wouldn't that be a wildly original take, Taryn? Wouldn't that be?
It turns out the villagers are evil.
What if the villagers are the evil ones? Fuck.
And they're sacrificing children to God.
Yeah. What if God is the bad guy, huh?
I swear to God, if that's actually the plot.
I betcha. Okay, let's see here. Puritan, fiend, fanatic, Solomon Kane. Fiend? Fiend? Would you describe Solomon Kane as a fiend?
No. He's not like fucking Han Solo, living life on the edge, doing whatever the fuck he wants.
In the wake of several grisly murders, Solomon Kane has been summoned to Windsor, England, to determine a woman's guilt. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. Actually, I don't care. Britain isn't a real place. To determine a woman's guilt. Is Sybil Easty a witch? I'm sure the answer is yes. And is she behind these gruesome crimes? His first night in Windsor, Kane awakens from horrific nightmares only to witness a man being torn asunder. Fear quickly turns to something more sinister, and the villagers are ready to lynch Sybil before Kane intervenes. Danger, Will Robinson. Kane must establish Sybil's true nature and solve the macabre mystery before more blood is spilt. However, nothing is what it seems in Windsor. I have a feeling it's exactly what it seems. I have a feeling this entire fucking story is exactly what it seems. What about you, Darren?
All the depth of a kiddie pool.
Holy shit. Oh, man. Good times, guys. Oh, man, some of Midnight's Edge's takes about the guy who owns Robert E. Howard's properties. Those haven't aged so well. All right. No, you can't go to war with Iran. That would kill my daughters. Thomas Marouk Massie. Show Bobs and Vagine. All right. Rod to NUKE, California. Hasn't California suffered enough with its politicians? I loathe YouTube censorship. Don't we all? Don't we all? But actually, let's go back to that list. What is this? Were you done scrolling down? 7,000, 7,000, 7,000. Mohammed Marouk donates 7,000. Who knew a decent haircut and a shave was $7,001, by the way, apparently.
And notice that it's the same guy running, or not running, but representing.
I just love, dude. Anti-Zionist of America PAC followed immediately by Citizens Against AI PAC. It's just not. It's like, we
9 days
AI
away
PAC.
from each other too, by the way.
Yeah. Now here's the mirror universe version of AI PAC. What the fuck?
Green for Congress. Ilhan for Congress. Playing both sides, or maybe they were the same side the entire time.
Am I the only motherfucker on the internet not being paid by a foreign power? Is there anyone in Congress who doesn't know the exchange rate of a goat? That's what I want to know. Jeez. Zaid donated a number of times. Look at him.
Did Sam. Look at Sam. Sam again. That's the Marjorie Taylor Greene one. This is a Sam for Roe for Congress. Here's Sam Green for Congress, and Sam is the two for the anti-Zionist and Citizens Against AI PAC.
Well, follow the money, guys, unless it leads where you don't want it to. Then stop following, please.
Well, they've got to be what? What are they? Saudis? What is this?
Mahmoud? No, they're from Cincinnati, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They're from merry old England. Actually, you know what? They probably are from merry old England. Let's be real. Nowadays, freaking Al Qaeda running pizza joints down there. But Razor, the Jews, Massie, Muslims, Massie, the Jews again, Zion, Massie is the good guy. He's not taking payments from no one. He's a good boy. Didn't do nothing. Getting his college degree.
Sam is from Dearborn.
Yeah. Hey, Razor, not too long ago, I got into an argument with a friend over the economics of gaming. How do I convince him all is not as good as it seems? Okay, well, when an industry is doing well, do you tend to get more product from that industry or less? Right? There are way less. Now we're talking about the AAA industry now, because in middle AA, middle market stuff is not in quite as dire of straits. Actually, it's certainly on the upswing. But if you look at the AAA industry, dude, you compare 2026, the number of AAA releases, to the number of AAA releases in 2006. There's no comparison. I don't know if Darren wants to do like a 2006 in gaming on Wikipedia real quick and bring that up so we could compare. But it's absolutely like, there's just no comparison, bro. There's absolutely no comparison. When an industry is doing well, you get more of it. Actually, by way of comparison, WWE, right? WWE is making a shitload of money, but their product is less popular. And the way that you know is they're giving you less of it in a lot of ways, right? Like they pulled back on house shows. I don't even think they do house shows really anymore. If the product was hopping and if lots of people wanted it, you would be getting more of it, not less. That's generally how these things work. So I would start with that. I would And then I would also point out, like, how many big games with huge budgets have lost money. How many? I mean, over the last several years, there's been major flops. We're not talking just Concord type stuff, but big games that couldn't possibly have made any money. Look at what was that game? What was the I just blew something up with my freaking hands?
Oh,
what was that one?
Forspoken. Keep
Forwoken, yes. Whatever like that thing can't have made 2 1/2 cents. There's no way. Duranus moving to Cincinnati for my new job. KY District 4 is right across the river. Massey's district. I'm tempted for a spite move / vote RazörForce. I'm tempted. Don't say that in public. I disavow.
I brought out that list too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. What is this? 2006.
Looking for anything specific?
Just looking at big releases. Drakengard 2. Wow.
Siren 2. Let's see.
Could you zoom in a little bit more?
Yeah,
there we go.
Rondia 3. State of Emergency 2. Jesus Christ.
Age of Empires. Jeez.
Super Monkey Ball.
Dungeons and Dragons Online. Oh, Battle for Middle-earth 2.
Final Fight.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Tokyo Extreme Racer.
Yep. Look at all those releases in this. Look at March, dude.
Yeah.
Look at all that shit.
Advanced Warfighter. There are people who swear by this game.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, wasn't it Game of the Year that year? Siphon Filter, Dark Mirror,
Subsistence,
Final Fantasy 12. My good, and we're halfway through March.
Oh, and a little ditty called Oblivion.
Oh, is that all? The Godfather game, was that any good?
I heard that they kind of butchered Don Corleone. They kind of made him like a psychopath.
It was a weird time in gaming, man, where they were. What was with that? Like 2005 to 2007, for some reason, the game industry was making video games out of 70s movies out of nowhere. What the hell was that? Right? There was suddenly a Warriors game. There was suddenly a Godfather game. Scarface is technically 80s, but you see what I'm talking about here, right? And they were even working on a Dirty Harry game at that time.
Oh, of course. From Russia with love.
Oh, yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Tomb Raider Legend.
Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. The Silent Hill Experience.
Woo!
Tomb Raider Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, some huge Dreamfall. Longest. That game is awesome. That game's actually really good if you like point and click type games.
Mother 3.
Yeah. Ace Combat 0. The Belkan War. Guilty. I mean, look at all this shit, dude.
We're just in April.
My goodness. They made a Da Vinci Code game?
Yeah. Oh. Sin Episodes, which is getting remastered, I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody tagged me. I don't know if it's true.
The original Sin is.
Yeah.
Hitman Blood Money. I forgot. Hitman Blood Money may be the best Hitman game ever.
Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
Just ridiculous, dude. Just ridiculous.
Table tennis. Yay, my favorite.
And table tennis. Oh.
Last Raven.
Armored Core. Right on. Battle up. There we go to the super chatter who is always asking about Mega Man Battle Network. Mega Man Battle Network 6.
There's a collection now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There is.
Let's see. OG Fighters.
Dude, Pirates of the Caribbean, those games, you can laugh and scoff. They're movie licensed, whatever. But those games sold. I remember when I worked at GameStop, man, people bought those all the time.
Battle for Middle Earth 2.
Yep.
Chrome
Prey.
Hounds.
Oh my gosh.
Prey.
And keep in mind, pretty much everything we're listing here, these are not AA for the most part. These are AAA. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting on Xbox 360. Dude, how many hundreds of hours did I pour into that?
Other Super Monkey Ball.
Tekken Dark Resurrection. That's a good one.
Dead Rising.
Probably the last time I was interested in Tekken, to tell you the truth. But you guys get the point, okay? You guys get the point. Star Fox Command on DS. Jeez. And this is just 06. So you compare this to this year, I mean, you're kind of lucky if you get 4, maybe 5 big AAA releases in a year. And some years, I mean, I remember distinctly like 2015, 16, something like that. It was a lot more like maybe 3. Call of Juarez, I forgot that came out in 2006.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Great game. Dude, there's a freaking series Techland needs to get back to. Stop making fucking shitty zombie games and get back to Call of Juarez already.
Mech Assault.
Oh, yes. Mech Assault, the DS Mech Assault.
Rule of Rose, a classic.
Very, very nice.
Blue
All right.
Rescue Team and Red Rescue Team.
Esperon, sticking my neck out here. Why shouldn't I support Israel? I'm too busy to look into the details. I don't care if you support them or not. I don't care about Israel. And that's a problem in 2026, apparently. Just not caring is apparently a problem.
OG Just Cause.
All right, cool. What's funny is you guys got half of the story right just by guessing, right? I'm sure we did, talking about the Solomon Kane book. All right. Hey, people, what are your thoughts on Squid Games?
Squid Games, yeah.
Boy, that was an obnoxious trend for 10 seconds, wasn't it? Hey guys, have you heard of Squid Games? Because Squid Games changed television. Did you know? Did you know Squid Games changed everything?
It's not even an original thing.
Jesus.
My God.
This is what happens though with Netflix shows a lot of times. Like it seems like they come out and Netflix just pays influencers a shitload of money to pretend that it's the greatest thing since chocolate BJ's. Zoombox 350 Boston MA. What the hell? 02134. Send it to Zoom. Add that to a core memory unlock. Next to KB Toys. My God, I'm old. I don't know if any of that was English. I'm just gonna level with you.
Bully was 2006.
Wow, I thought it was earlier than that.
No, apparently not. Put PS2. Yeah, this is the original release.
Jaws Unleashed.
Yes, sir.
Destroy All Humans 2. Man, people swear by those games.
Mm-hmm.
They really, really do. Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. How
Fear.
about that? All right.
Marvel Ultimate. Oh my God, it was, wasn't it?
Yes, it absolutely was. Thoughts on Group Promethean? I don't think I've heard of it. Defending the Witch. Hershey. Godspeed. Requirements for writing Solomon Kane. Not an atheist, reads works by the Puritans, knows what is good and evil. I would add another thing in there. The thing that inspired Robert E. Howard originally. Reads sword fighter stories. Solomon Kane was inspired by Robert E. Howard reading the diaries of a professional fencer. Like a guy who literally trekked across the world, is a real guy, trekked across the world, challenging great fencing opponents. And that's like the whole discipline and idea of swordsmen during the 1600s and 1700s. It was an entire culture, right? Sort of like the same thing that inspired Iron Maiden to write the song Flash of the Blade, right? That kind of thing. That's what inspired Solomon Kane. So it was like he was reading these diaries of these swordsmen and realized, dude, these guys are fanatical. They treat their sword like it's a religion. I got it. What if you took a religious fanatic, like a Puritan, and made him a swordsman. Bingo! Just made one of the coolest characters ever. Just combining two things that kind of crossed over. Never cut off potential avenues of inspiration. All right, sweet. Godfather game is a bunch of fun. Would recommend. Interesting. What kind of game is it, Taryn? Do you know?
I thought it was very much just like Grand Theft Auto. I might be wrong. By the way, you weren't lying. I've seen Reservoir Dogs right here.
Yeah.
Godfather. Earlier up on the list was the Scarface game. The World is Yours.
I don't know what it was about this era, but it was like all the video game companies, all the publishers were like, hey, you know that 70s movie nobody's talked about in forever? Oh, make a game out of that. I don't know what it was.
Elite Beat
Cesario. Iran has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. Give Oscars the biggest ratings bump ever with one quick trick. I guarantee it'll beat the Will Smith slap. I guarantee you.
Gears of War, and there's another one, Sopranos.
Is that any good?
I don't know. That one feels more like a cash in because we're towards the end of the year and all those other games have come out. Splinter Cell Double Agent, by the way. And
oh gosh, yeah, Double Agent was that year. Dude. What a freaking year. What a year for game.
I completely forgot that all of those games came out in that year.
Oh, there you go. The Aragon game, Taryn.
Yay.
There you go.
Nobody under 20 remembers what that is.
You remember when everyone made a big deal out of the fact that the kid wrote it when he was like 10 or something, or whenever it was, and it was like, then people started to actually analyze it and realized he basically just cobbled together like 3 stories that he had already read.
Yep.
Poor kid.
Knocked me over with a feather.
I mean, he's a 10-year-old. What the hell? I kind of don't hold it against him. Resistance Fall of Man. Look at that shit.
What the one game I would have said probably would make a great movie. Before this game released, there was huge hype around it. And I would go to the website, the official website, and read the lore as it came out, like little by little. I think they were like releasing little bits every week. It was really great storytelling.
Matthew Hammond says HD caused graphics over gameplay to be emphasized. I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. Let's see here. Correction to my last message. He's not a vampire priest. He's a vampire hunting priest sent from the Vatican. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, let's see here. Thank you, Dill Prickle, for the 50. Hey, Razor. I'm in Pennsylvania and Delaware with family, and one at the casino thought I'd share the winnings. Hey! Well, thank you. Also,
wow.
I went to the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and I couldn't even enjoy myself because every other piece was accompanied by some disgusting woke context. I hate that shit. I feel like when art stopped being about, hey, we're inventing new techniques to make art better, right? The first several centuries of art was, hey, this guy decided to start making people look like people, right? That's the history of art for the first several centuries. After you got to a certain point where people looked like people for long enough, eventually people were like, hey, I've got an idea. How about we make people not look like people? And so the spiral into shittiness began. I feel like that's kind of the story and the arc of art in general.
2006, also Sneak King.
Oh, yes, the classic. The classic.
Best stealth game ever. Twilight Princess. And we even got the Knights of the Nine expansion for Elder Scrolls in that year.
It came out the same year as the game?
Right there.
Well, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Do you know why? because Oblivion was supposed to come out in 2005. It was supposed to be a 360 launch title. Remember, it got pushed back.
Probably already in the.
It got pushed back.
works.
So yeah, absolutely. So it's probably ready to go the next year. ASDF Godspeed. Ace Combat 8 is indeed coming this year. Enigma, you need to play Urban Chaos. I think we're seeing Urban Chaos right now. So, all right. Hey, Razor, help me win a bet. What was the percentage amount of oil China gets from Iran before all this skirmish in the region started? An estimated between 80 and 90%. And actually, it was just reported the other day that Iran is now basically in a panic, shipping more oil through the strait to China than it was before this conflict. So it's like, China, please help us. I think it's kind of a desperation move. Plus, they need money, right? Is Israel puppet the new Putin puppet? I feel like the two were there was always some parity between the two false narratives. All right. Rule of Rose is at a measly $800.
Yep.
What?
It's coveted. Like, you can hardly find it. It's just one of those things.
Okay.
I don't think they released it on anything else.
Jack White, I'm a millennial and I don't believe in any of this woke BS. I think a lot of these millennial so-called writers are upper middle class wealthy kids, so that would explain why the content sucks. Yeah, I mean, I think you need to write from experience in some way. There's nothing worse than reading a love scene by somebody who's never been in love, and there's nothing worse than a combat scene from someone who's never been in a fight, and there's nothing, right? You need some kind of frame of reference of some kind. You need something. I'm not saying that you have to have experienced everything that your character did, but there's a reason Doc Savage stories still scintillate with energy. If you look at Lester Dent, he was Doc Savage. The dude was a pilot. He jet set it all over the world. He went to war. He freaking was a gun owner. He knew how to write. He was an adventurer. He was a real life Indiana Jones. And he winds up writing these Doc Savage stories that in a lot of ways are kind of precursors to the Indiana Jones adventures. The Shadow is a magician criminologist. What did Walter Gibson do? He was a magician who wrote a crime beat for a newspaper, right? He was halfway to a criminologist himself, and he was an illusionist. He was part of the same magic circle in the Philadelphia area that Harry Houdini was in. So write what you know to a degree. There's definitely like that old adage, that old axiom of write what you know is not the worst advice ever, I have to say. The Tard Saint, I remember really liking the Godfather game, especially the PS3 version, but the Sopranos game was rough. Very much a cash-in. You know what game I expected to be a cash-in, but actually was pretty good?
What?
The Lost video game.
Really?
It was not bad. It was actually not bad. All right, let's see here. Mummy Badgers, DS9's proving allegorically useful in analyzing Iran. I'm trying to think the degree to which that would apply. We just finished a great video on DS9, by the way, and I'm not talking about the Season 6 Depths of DS9 premiere. A long-awaited video is going to be dropping probably tomorrow. The video analyzing the plagiarism allegations between Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 for years and years and years. The most noxious strains of the interwebs have claimed that Babylon 5 was plagiarized by Deep Space Nine. I have conclusive evidence that that is a lie, that everyone from Dave Cullen to Steve Shives has lied their asses off on their YouTube channels for years, and that this narrative has been pushed falsely for a long, long time. I'm going to shit hammer the entire corner of nerddom on the internet. So look forward to that video, ladies and gents. It's been a long promised video, but it's finally coming. We're done with it. I didn't want to put it out at the same time as this stream.
Steve Shives. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, because he probably blocked you 10 years ago. John Horn, I'm here to brag. I bench pressed 300 pounds today. Oh, slept with the wife, did you? Kidding. To quote Frank Costanza, I feel vigorous. Godspeed, bro. And thank you. Marussia Tark, why do people latch on to Rubio's comment that Israel got us into the war? He didn't actually say that, but not his clarification saying that wasn't what he meant. Feels like the latest fine people hoax, especially among those who aren't Jewsburging. A lot of this should feel familiar in terms of we're kind of running the playbook on whatever you want to call them, the woke right, the Euro trash right, the airsats right, whatever the hell. They've consistently run the same playbook as the fine people hoax. I mean, the shit where Trump hasn't gone after Epstein. Trump's the buddy of Epstein. The Epstein administration, right? All of that. We now know that Trump, I mean, we've now confirmed. We've known it for years. I've talked about it on this podcast for years that Trump was actually a whistleblower. He was probably the most prominent whistleblower on Epstein. There's been a lot of false stories that have circulated out there, and we see them again and again and again. All right, let's see here. And as for why they're doing it, it's because we're in the middle of an op. It's obvious, and I talked about it a couple of days ago. I posted a tweet. I'm probably going to have to make a video on it. I don't want to. Honestly, the fucking spurgery around politics and the midterms and everything is just unctuous. Like, it's just noxiously bad. I don't even want to engage with it. But I do want to future-proof myself because the most unpopular positions I've ever taken have always proven to be the most future-proofed ones. They're the ones I lose subscribers over. They're the ones I lose viewers over. And then later on down the road, everyone else is saying what I was saying 5 years ago. So I have to go on the record at some point and say it. But I do think that we're in a place where the left can't make the sale on their own party, as I've said many, many times. So the operation now is, well, we got to break their coalition then. We have to break MAGA. So all the money they would have spent building up Democrats, they're instead spending to tear down MAGA, to divide MAGA. And it could be as simple as tons of bot farms to boost engagement of bad actors on the right? The Tim Pool sphere, the people who can be bought for day-old cornbread, those kind of people. Because they're naturally going to divide the right. Hey, let's boost every single time Candace breaks wind. We'll have 2,000 freaking accounts boosting it and retweeting it. And then, of course, all the people who are trying to refute her arguments will wind up inadvertently carrying her dishwater by retweeting it so that they can refute it. And you see this cycle just repeat itself over and over and over again. It's absolutely repulsive. So I think that's really what's going on right now. Well, Razor, was nice knowing you and Taryn. I guess if I had one regret, I'd say it was never moving somewhere with colder weather. That said, at least Newsom would go out with us, so there's a silver lining. Okay, we should probably talk about the big story. I mean, is it a story? There's no way Iran can actually pull this off, but there was a credible threat from the Iranian regime to drone California, not nuke technically, although I guess they could attach a nuclear device to a drone. But do you have that story, Darren?
Oh, dear. Report. FBI warned West Coast police departments of a potential Iran strike. Regime allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles.
Aspired is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Let me zoom in a bit more for you guys. The FBI warned California police departments of Iran potentially striking the West Coast on Wednesday.
Hold on, everyone. Let them cook. Let them cook.
Oh, no, please don't.
Yeah, right. I can hear you now. What would we all do without Hollywood, the wine industry, and porn? I don't know, thrive? Fucking.
An alert distributed to departments by the FBI stated that the agency had recently acquired information, I don't know why that's in quotations, that the Islamic Republic of Iran aspired to launch an attack on targets in California, ABC News reported Wednesday. We recently acquired information that is as early as February of 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States.
Was this vessel actually in our waters, or did they actually get that far?
Exactly. I'm wondering how.
Yeah.
The alert stated,
again, aspired is doing a lot of heavy lifting. They may have aspired to even send that vehicle out there.
In the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran, we have no additional information on the timing, method, target, or perpetrators of this alleged attack, the alert reportedly added. The Daily Caller News Foundation was unable to reach the FBI for comment. The warning came as the initial joint U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran began on February 28th, according to ABC. Democratic.
Has it been that recently? It feels like 40 years.
Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom wrote in an X post that he was not aware of any imminent threats, but remains prepared for any emergency in his state. Yeah.
I hope he evacuates before any strike. I've seen his hair. We don't want to start any grease fires.
I swear to God, if there's actually an attack and his ass is like in Montana or something.
Right. Bonus points if he's campaigning in his home state at the time. Oh,
Iran officials have threatened the United States and its allies in the past. Duh.
No shit.
Ali something or other, Iran Supreme National Security Council Secretary warned beware lest you be the ones to vanish. And then he vanished because his ass got airstriked.
Mm-hmm.
The X account of deceased Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in the initial strikes in Tehran, posted an image of a missile in a lab.
Kind of burying the lead there. He was killed in the initial strikes, and then we spent the next 4 days playing patty cake with the Iranian media while they basically stalled and refused to admit that he had been killed the first night. Like he probably got glassed hour one. I'd be willing to put money on it.
The X post stated, the Zionist regime has made a big mistake, and its consequences will make the regime desperate. By God's grace.
By God's grace.
Sorry. I added that last part.
Free clitorectomies for everyone. Sure, guys. Their missiles can't even hit the right oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. But they're going to bullseye Bakersfield from across the Pacific. What the fuck are you going to launch them from? Malibu Beach? Seriously. But apparently they're going to use drones. That's the argument there.
I get, park a fucking tanker or something, or cargo ship off the coast, and then launch
They'd have
drones.
to be mighty close, bro. You ever use a drone? Fucking, they got the range of Batista.
Completely off topic. How much land does China own next to military bases here in America?
How much land in freaking California does China own? Jesus, they own like half that land mass.
Let's see.
Good evening, gentlemen. An official RazörForce shout out to Pipkin Pippa as she screwed over Hassan from getting former CIA spook Kyriako on his show. I don't know.
How did she do that?
I don't know what that means. I do not know what any of those words meant except Hassan and Pippin.
Let me read a few here from Rumble. We got Random Nobody. Thank you for the $1. Ultros. Razör with CPAC having Bannon and the ongoing war between Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly. It's official that forces inside the right are causing a civil war. How does the right get back on track?
I agree. I think it has to be, in this case, so CPAC, do they have connections to Turning Point? I mean, it seems like there's a whole lot of people who are still on like a lunch meeting basis with a lot of these figures. So there's no purity test at all, right? I think that was half of the reason Charlie Kirk dug in and invited Tucker Carlson, even though it was clear he was down to fillet Fuentes even before Charlie Kirk was killed, right? It's like, oh, I've gone out to dinner with the guy. I know Tucker Carlson. Freaking 10 minutes after they plant Charlie Kirk in the ground, he's blowing Fuentes to completion on his podcast. Whoop. So, sorry. I like Charlie Kirk, but nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Some people just kind of lack judgment. It just happens. So I think really the right needs to develop some discernment. If there's some encouraging signs, it's that I'm noticing more people than ever are starting to catch on to some of this grift. Look, Bannon appearing in 1,974 Epstein emails, which is more than any other single individual, I believe, apart from Epstein himself, was a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of us. A couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me about Bannon appearing in the emails. Now, this was before we got all of the Bannon stuff and before I dug into it personally. But I remember saying, oh, well, he should at least address it. I don't think he did any malfeasance, but he should at least explain what he was doing in the files, right? Well, then there was another email dump. And all of a sudden, boom, he's sitting there conspiring to 25th Amendment Trump. He's fucking, dude, it's obviously not just for a documentary. His argument that I was just trying to get close to him to make this documentary doesn't hold water. He's leaning on Ann Coulter to go easy on Epstein. That's another person who gets mentioned a lot in the files that nobody talks about. Ann fucking Coulter, Seabiscuit herself, gets mentioned a lot in the Epstein emails. So we got to develop some discernment, guys. You have to develop some discernment. And a lot of these people tell on themselves. They really do. And when somebody demonstrates their character, I mean in functional ways, not just talking, okay? When somebody demonstrates their character in a functional way, that needs to be a tip-off. This is an example of Steve Bannon demonstrating a lack of character. It's got to be like, I hate to use the word gatekeeping, but what else do you call it? There has to be a degree of gatekeeping on the right. The big tent strategy, you can't just let any old asshole in the tent, especially not when your movement is primarily defined by its immigration policy, which is in turn defined by not letting absolutely anyone in the fucking tent. Jesus. Any words on that, Taryn?
No, actually.
Including fucking damn.
Damn.
I'd hate to limit your free range of expression.
No, I mean, you're right. Look, we all love Charlie, but
I think
these people, like,
no,
I mean,
ahead,
we're
sorry,
talking like beyond Ben Shapiro and like Nick Fuentes, but people like Tucker, people like Ann Coulter and all that, like, we should know by now these people aren't really on our side. They're just using, like Thomas Massie, we're talking about him earlier, just using Trump as a stepping stool for themselves, for their gain, for their political gain.
And the counterpoint is always, well, you're just cultishly devoted to Trump, right? And of course, the irony in that is their position makes legitimate criticism of Trump impossible because they are engaged in malfeasance. They are not opposing him for legitimate reasons. When you spread a falsehood like Trump betrayed his base on Iran, and then I spend 5 seconds on freaking Twitter and prove that to be a lie, by just searching the word Iran on his freaking Twitter account and finding him repeatedly stumping for war against Iran going back to 2011. And then videos turn up of him in the 80s talking about shit hammering Iran. Like, guys, once we catch you in like 20 lies in rapid succession, you understand we no longer consider your criticisms of Trump to be valid because, spoiler, motherfucker, they're not valid. You're lying. And none of you motherfuckers have the character to admit that you lied, own up to it, and then move on to the next thing. Like, if even one of these motherfuckers just said, well, shit, I got taken for a ride. I was a really big Tim Pool fan. I just trust him out of hand. It's no, right? Like, if you did that just once, we could take some of your criticism. Like, being a genuine fiscal conservative is something I can absolutely get behind. I could understand breaking company with Trump over that. But Massie's only consistent position is not fiscal conservatism. It is opposing Trump. That's the more consistent position. If you look at his recent positions, opposing Trump far dwarfs fiscal conservatism, right? Because he's voted for things that have wound up adding spending. Even the Epstein stuff had pork. The freaking Epstein bill that he passed had pork in it, for crying out loud. Before we get too deep here, I forgot to check Streamlabs. Anonymous, did you see CNN's disgraceful reporting on Khamenei? Dude, we need like a clip of Trump trying to say his name. It's my favorite thing in the world. Khamenei. I'm enjoying all the mouse jokes and kickstand jokes coming from Iranians. Apparently, he's also in a coma. Wild stuff. Yeah, the new Khamenei is the new Kamehameha is apparently now in a coma. He got boofed already. So.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that took longer than I expected.
Oh, Taryn, it's our buddy Mohammed Marouk.
Oh,
he
no.
donates $7,000. No, he donates $5 and says, "Terran depreciation post." What does that mean? What the fuck? Terran's the U.S. dollar, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm
worth less and less every day. Oh,
yes. Aren't we all?
I made myself sad.
The 1-2 KO punch of Iran and Venezuela will starve China of oil, but will it be enough to deter Xi from going after Taiwan? Animals are most dangerous when they're cornered. Do I want to read this? So I do want to look into this story. I found this in the Epic Times. It was a really good piece. Epic Times normally have their big stories behind a paywall online, so I'll literally read this from the paper. You guys can just gather around the recliner like I'm the dad from Leave It to Beaver, and I'll sit here and read the paper, son. China seriously misjudged Iran's situation. When Western alliances reacted to the U.S.-Israeli strikes in Iran, Beijing's response was measured. The Chinese Foreign Ministry statement, by the way, this is called a newspaper. We used to, back in antiquity, when we had a civilization, we used to read these things. They have a variety of characters drafted on them, like a cave wall in the Paleolithic era.
Before you get too much further, it just reminds me like people saying that their kids pick up a magazine or a newspaper and they try to do the finger thing where they try to enlarge the print or like scroll. Yeah, they touch it.
Yes.
Oh, God.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry statement came 7 hours after the operation began and contains slightly more than 80 words. The spokesperson said Beijing is, quote, highly concerned and called for, quote, an immediate stop to the military actions. There was no mention of either the United States or Israel. Before I move on, what do you make of that? The fact that they didn't even specifically declaim Israel or the United States in that statement.
A bit odd.
Muted, right? Really, really muted. Like they're just kind of watching their ass. Again, I've said since the beginning, the angle no one is paying attention, or at least early on, no one was paying attention to, was how this affects China. Again, there was a list of 3 asshole countries. They were all allies of China. We're now on number 2. We started with Venezuela. We're now on Iran, which is number 2. And already Trump is beating his chest about number 3, which is Cuba. Whether you oppose this or not, you cannot deny there is a Chinese component to it. And given how obsessed Trump is with China ripping us off on trade and China won't get away with it, it's not going to happen, you cannot deny this is a component. You can't be rational and honest and deny that this is a legitimate component, even if you oppose it, okay? There was no mention of either the United States or Israel. The statement was a quote, and this is a quote from China, downgraded version. After multiple revisions.
The first version had a lot of swearing in it.
Right. A lot of guaylo in it. According to one insider close to individuals in Beijing's diplomatic system, the muted tone was a reflection of shock, according to the source, which was confirmed by a separate source close to the Chinese foreign affairs system. I should add, the Epoch Times do have a lot of sources in the CCP. They said China's authorities had misjudged the situation and dismissed the possibility of a U.S. military offensive outright ahead of the attacks. What did I tell you guys? This blew China's minds when they thought they had paid for enough engagement, enough ops. They thought they had paid off enough politicians. This is one of the reasons the Israel thing is so unctuous to me. I don't care about Israel. What I care about is that Israel is being used as a distraction from China. Your original hypothesis, the Juiceberg's original hypothesis, was Israel's buying off our politicians. Well, if you go to Open Secrets and you look up the main foreign donors to U.S. politicians, and I could look that up real quick. I've got an image of it if you guys want actual proof of it in a hard copy form. But number 1 is China. A distant number 10 is Israel. Above them is the Marshall Islands. Above them is the freaking Philippines. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. So the thing that I find most unctuous is that we're not talking about how much money China spends within U.S. borders to get what they want. And the proof here is the admission that China was gobsmacked by the fact that we attacked Iran. Why would China be gobsmacked? Because they spent money bribing our politicians so we wouldn't fucking attack Iran. Which is why this op is going on, because they want us to stop attacking Iran, because China's getting oil from them, because China wants to attack Taiwan. And they can only do that navally, because China's only military advantage, I mean, they are decades behind the United States in terms of military technology. But what they do have is a manpower advantage. But how do you bring a manpower advantage to bear without the largest naval operation in history shuttling those soldiers over? You cannot do it. And China's Navy, as I've hastened to point out in my China the Paper Dragon rant, still runs on diesel fuel. So a lot of oil is required, folks. So but I just, another thing that this demonstrates, I don't know if you took this away from this, the greatest myth, I think, outside, of course, of the female orgasm, is the idea that communist China are like the most circumspect assholes on planet Earth. They are perpetually 2,000 4D chess moves ahead. Right? Communists are reactionaries, which is why communist political strategy is inherently reactive. More often than not, China is reacting to something that someone else is doing. Do they plan ahead? Yes, everyone tries to plan ahead. But when you've got a dictatorship with a perpetual drama of succession going on and your politics are inherently reactionary, you're not exactly going to be drafting a multi-part plan for multi-phases throughout the years. It's just, oh man, people get so many things wrong about China, period. We need to have China uncensored on again. He was a great guest to have on. Poor horse abused by Chang. Thanks, Obama. You want to read this?
Certainly. Ben, Evening, Razor. In hope you talk about the alleged bombing of a school the U.S. may or may
Yeah, that
not
that
be
popped off like
responsible
the
for.
day of, wasn't it, or a couple of days after?
I
it
think
started?
it was yesterday. Trump was doing a press conference and got asked about that. Even he doesn't know. The investigation is ongoing. It was allegedly struck by a tomahawk, and like the president pointed out, other nations have tomahawks.
There's
So-
some fairly compelling evidence that it wasn't a tomahawk, which would rule out the U.S. If you look at the video and you pause in freeze frame, you can see that the fins on the back of it are too far. I think it's aft. They're too far aft. With a tomahawk, it's supposed to be forward a little ways. It's like, I don't know, 50% up in the near the middle or something like that. I did see Matt Tardia's analysis, so I'm not sure on that one. I've heard conflicting reports, and here's the problem. You know, the people reporting this now, like definitively, as if it is 100% attributed to the U.S., they're all websites I don't trust. The Guardian, the New York Times is picking up on a report from The Guardian, which is a notorious propaganda factory. I think I'll wait for the dust to settle on that. I mean, look, it's possible in the middle of fog of war that you can get collateral targets. First off, why the hell would you have a naval installation or whatever it was right next to a damn school?
we all know why.
Yeah, you do wonder on that one, especially because Iran already has a history of having major ground offensives against it during the Iran-Iraq War. I mean, I know people who lived through the Iran-Iraq War on the Iranian side, and the stories they tell, you know, being in school, literally being in school as a young kid and suddenly having to leave because the Iraqis decided to attack, and going out into the street, and there's just describing what a human body part looks like separate from the body. I mean, just crazy stories. But yeah, so I guess I'm taking a wait and see until someone I trust actually reports on it approach. But I actually think Trump's response was the wisest way to go, because he probably wants to get his ducks in a row and actually find out after the fog of war lifts how to respond to that. Chucksenhausen, I'm in CA and I don't blame Iran for wanting to nuke. I just asked they start at Gavin Newsom's place. Also, I find it fun the left dislikes Israel now. They always did. They always did. You remember, I've referenced it a few times. You remember the hate Bush rallies in 2004?
Of course.
They were all over the country. George Soros basically paid for all of them. Every single one of those was like a sea of Palestinian flags, anti-Israel flag. Like, the left has always hated Israel. It's been one of their pet things for a long time. But they love Palestine because it is communist. That's probably why. On an unrelated note, Razor, you here played the game Over the Top on Steam. It's pretty fun. World War I, third and first-person shooter with trench digging, tanks, planes, etc. Funny you should mention it. Taryn was telling me about it just before the stream.
Yep.
All right. I heard the Ayatollah cardboarda is not a fan of puddles or the homeless making houses out of his skin. Reminds me of you remember that In Living Color sketch with the hobo guy?
Yeah.
I loved those. Now here's the bathroom, and he grabs a pickle jar filled with piss.
Oh God, I remember that specifically. Oh.
and he used his boogers as adhesive for the walls and shit. Oh man, those were great. Those are great. Order Midwest, hey Razor, there was a shooting at a synagogue in Michigan. No innocents were harmed, but a lot of people, of course, it was all Jews. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But a lot of people online said this was due to blowback for Israel, I guess. The justification makes me sick. So they were rationalizing it on the basis that, well, Israel made everyone mad. I mean, have you ever had, let's put it this way, if the gunman turns out to be a no clear motive American.
Oh, got a lot of those.
Let's be honest. Do you have to twist the arm of someone from the Middle East to get them to shoot up a synagogue? Does it take a lot of persuasion?
Something we haven't discussed that happened this weekend, we'll probably won't get to.
Yeah.
That whole fucking rally in New York. And then he, what was his name? Jake Lang or whatever. He was a part of the Jan 6th people who got arrested. He was holding a rally, and some of the no clear motive American threw a pipe bomb at him. You didn't hear about that?
Did it detonate?
I don't think it did, but of course, moron Zumdati or whatever the fuck his name is, he said that white supremacist was holding a racist rally.
Of course.
And then somebody threw a bomb, maybe.
The spin precedes the event.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
100%. It's prefab spin. They just fit the event to the prefab spin. Once you understand this about the left, that they begin with their conclusion and then they work backward to justify it, all of their other behavior makes infinitely more sense.
Yeah, hey, look, you didn't have to be out there talking, but when you
it was
do,
your fault for having a pulse.
So, these things just happen.
Yep. Shackley Rusterford. Reminder that Thomas Jefferson read the Quran and came to the conclusion that we cannot coexist with Mohammedans. Funny, Martin Luther came to that conclusion in the 1520s, I believe.
That's crazy, isn't it?
You know why Martin Luther, he planned to translate the Quran. I forget if he ever got around to it. He wrote a foreword to a German edition of the Quran. But do you know why he did?
Why? Please tell me.
He argued that if German Christians could get their hands on the Quran, they would never, ever again doubt that we cannot coexist with Muslims.
I would love to read that forward. Does it exist out there?
Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I'll find it real quick. Let's see here.
Actually, I can read a few over here on Rumble. Let's see. Final Rambobino. I have a 3 Civil War prediction limit on my content creators. Known Drifter. Nuking California. Don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah.
Bystander Syndrome. Thank you for the 20. Hey, Razor. Help me with a bet. What was the percentage amount of oil China gets from Iran before all this skirmish in the region started?
Oh, sorry. I missed the very beginning of that. I did find the forward, by the way.
Help me with a bet. What was the percentage amount of oil China gets?
Oh, I
Iran?
already read that one. I already read that one.
Oh, you must have donated.
He must have donated on 2 different platforms.
Yeah.
Godspeed to you.
Hex, thank you for gifting that.
Before we move on, let me read this real quick. This is a quotation from the 1542 preface by Martin Luther to the Quran. Actually, let me bring it on screen. That'll be more illustrative.
This gonna be good.
Therefore, as I have written against the idols of the Jews and the papists, and will continue to do so to the extent that it is granted me, so also I have begun to refute the pernicious beliefs of Mohammed, and I will continue to do so at more length. But in order to do this, it is also useful to study closely the writings of Mohammed themselves. He just calls them Muhammad. Accordingly, I have wanted to get a look at a complete text of the Quran. I do not doubt that the more other pious and learned persons read these writings, the more the errors and the name of Muhammad will be refuted. For just as the folly, or rather madness, of the Jews is more easily observed once their hidden secrets have been brought out into the open, so once the book of Muhammad has been made public and thoroughly examined in all its parts, all pious persons will more easily comprehend the insanity and wiles of the devil and will be more easily able to refute them. This is the reason that has moved me to wish to publish this book.
Damn.
Martin Luther didn't mess around. Jesus. Oh,
Like, I was expecting it to be good, but my God.
I know, dude. You got to read the full forward. It's freaking great. It's freaking great. Him on the Muslims was great. And it's funny because Roman Catholics will often say he opposed, like he opposed Rome, I think, moving against the Turk or something. But actually, that's not a full verity. And actually, Protestants wound up taking part in that revolt too. So it's not really historically accurate. Quasi-mofo. Always accuse your enemy of what you are doing. Indeed. Godspeed. All right. When will Trump realize Bondi's utterly swamp? It's a mixed bag with her. I saw another story in Epic Times, actually. I don't know if I want to do the Cleaver Dad thing again. I did post a little of it on social media, but Pam Bondi charges 30 more suspects in the Minnesota church protest case. So for all the people who said no one was freaking arrested, and 25 of the 30 were already arrested. So 30 have been charged and 25 have already been arrested. Which sadly, the only thing charged about Don Lemon was his anal vibrator, but he got released right away. But enough about his boyfriend. The Department of Justice has charged 30 more individuals for their alleged involvement in a January 18th anti-immigration enforcement protest at a Minnesota church. According to Attorney General Pam Bondi, 25 of the 30 newly indicted individuals have already been arrested. The indictment was unsealed on February 27th, so the indictment had already been preceding. This is something we do need to be careful of. Sometimes indictments are freaking not out there for the public for a while. So there can actually be action and people can be charged, but it's just not public. Nobody's aware of it. That is something I worry about. People don't really understand the mechanics of how these kind of things happen. Look, I get it. Feels like table scraps when you want hundreds and hundreds of people to be arrested, but we are getting some movement. Shit, maybe that helps with the next story, not so much on Bondi, but on Tulsi Gabbard, because she made some movement on the Georgia election stuff. We covered that in detail. I think it was last week, right? Well, it looks like deliverance is coming to our homestead. Did you see that story I sent to you, Taryn?
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Arizona is the new front line in election fraud. It's always been the front line. I hate to break it to you. We are election fraud central over here, for crying out loud. But apparently now, well, there are a number of things. Grab the first story. I think it's from VoteBeat.
VoteBeat?
Mm-hmm. If you don't have it, I do.
America First Legal's what I've got.
That's the second one. Let me bring up the first one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me bring this one up and I'll just read a little bit of it for you guys.
Oh, here it is. Sorry,
I
do have it. Sorry.
Cool. So Trump administration subpoenas 2020 records from Maricopa County amid push to investigate election. Now be careful. I think this is kind of a biased source. The FBI subpoenaed the Arizona Senate for records related to the controversial audit of election results in the state's most populous county. The documents could include ballot images. Scroll on down, sir. The FBI recently subpoenaed records from the Arizona Senate related to the exhaustively reviewed 2020 election in Maricopa County. Exhaustively reviewed? Really? They had to fight and claw to even get that audit. I covered the results of that audit. I warned ahead of the election about that audit. Shoot, that's a video I need to upload, by the way. I had a video breaking down the results of the full Maricopa County audit. And that's where, if you want the actual numbers, Biden, like the amount of fraud in Maricopa County, the amount of fraudulent ballots, whether intentionally or not, exceeded Biden's margin of victory by more than 5-6 times, something like that. It was like, I want to say 50,000 or something, and Biden won by 10, 11,000. Or won. by 10, 11,000. So that's a video I need to re-upload, I realized. To
Is
Rumble.
that the video that almost got us kicked off YouTube?
That was one of them. I got a bunch of election videos struck. The first one that was hit was fine for months. That one pissed me off. That was the mail-in ballots or BS. I just put that back up today on Rumble if you guys want to check that out. We almost lost our YouTube channel over that. I put it up in September of 2020, months ahead of the election, predicted what was going to happen with mail-in ballots. I warned everyone. It wound up happening. That video was up for months. It was perfectly fine. It wasn't until like January of the following year, after January 6th, when Google decided to crack down on election disinformation, that suddenly that video magically transformed into election disinformation, and we almost lost our channel over it. But then there was the Arizona election audit, and I covered that, and that got flagged for election disinformation. And did I mention that about a year ago, I want to say, you remember Stephen Richer, the county recorder here in Maricopa, the guy freaking with the Larry Fine hair and the absolute toolbox. He pretended to be MAGA to get elected, and then he turned out to just be a scumbag and a turncoat.
Right.
Basically just carrying water for the Democrats. Turned out that guy was busted basically putting in, there were a bunch of emails between him and Google telling them to take down election disinformation videos. So there is a really, really, really good chance that our own county recorder almost got our channel taken down on YouTube. That Stephen Richer himself was responsible for that. Anyhow, marking another move by President Trump's administration to relitigate an election that he lost. This is what I'm talking about. It's a biased source. State Senate President Warren Peterson, a Republican, announced Monday on social media that he had received and complied with a federal grand jury subpoena for records related to the chamber's controversial review of the county's election results, which was conducted in 2021. That review ultimately concluded that former President Joe Biden had indeed won in the county. And if you want a full breakdown of that, I think it is on Bitchute, my full breakdown of the audit. That is a distortion of fact. He won in terms of votes that they were allowed to remain there, right? So they had a number of ballots, like 50,000 to 60,000 or something, where the signatures didn't match. But because they were not allowed by the county to signature match and then throw out ballots that didn't signature match, Joe Biden by default won. Right? If they had been allowed to signature match, which is like the most basic thing that you could possibly do to check whether a ballot is valid. Hey, look, that's the signature on file. It doesn't match the file. Therefore, we throw it out. If that had been done, Joe Biden would not have won Maricopa County. And again, it's important to point out, this is just one county in Arizona, and it's not even a blue county. So if there was this much fraud in a red county, how much fraud was in like Pima down in Tucson, right? Or up in Flagstaff or one of these super lefty places up north or south of Phoenix. Can you even imagine, dude?
We just let it go on for way too long.
Yeah. Scroll down.
Certainly.
The news comes several weeks after the FBI searched an election office in Fulton County, Georgia, for records tied to the 2020 election, which Trump has long insisted was stolen from him. Now, here's a great amount of irony because they've pushed back on this. You can't do this. You can't re-prosecute the election. There couldn't possibly be fraud. And of course, there's already a precedent in the state of Georgia for accusing one side of having stolen it. And it comes from the Democrats, because if you'll recall, Stacey Abrams was still challenging the result of a prior election when 2016 happened. A Democrat. But it's okay when they do it, guys. It's okay when they do it. Such allegations from Trump and his allies have consistently been rejected by courts. Officials in the first Trump administration, like turncoats like William Barr, election officials and experts, after multiple audits and reviews, found Trump lost the election to Biden. There was one audit. There were recounts, but if you're recounting fraudulent ballots, what does that change? There was one audit. And it wasn't even a forensic audit. They weren't allowed a signature match. They weren't allowed to throw out ballots that were invalid. So it was essentially a glorified recount. Jason Berry, a spokesperson for Maricopa County, said county supervisors had not received any subpoena. Now, this is interesting. A spokesperson for Maricopa County said county supervisors had not received a subpoena related to election records from the FBI, but that they, quote, will cooperate if that were to occur. Spokesperson Judy Kane of the Maricopa County Recorder's Office said her agency hadn't received a subpoena either, those being democratically controlled offices. That suggests that the FBI obtained records that were largely already public and did not receive documents from more recent elections. Actually, that last office was Republican controlled. Most documents pertaining to the legislative audit of the 2020 election were turned over to news outlets and advocacy groups that sued for public access to them in the wake of the review, which found no evidence of substantial voter fraud during the election and slightly increased Biden's margin of victory. And I've already broken down exactly why that is. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You want to bring up that other story? So the argument that there was, after this story broke, there was this period where they claimed there had been no subpoenaing of records, and in fact, they hadn't been handed over. A habitual damage control douchebag for Maricopa County is a guy by the name of Garrett Archer, the so-called AZ data guru. And for 2 straight days, he claimed that no one had been subpoenaed and no records had been handed over. He called Carrie Lake out for fake news and Tyler Boyer and myself. He quote tweeted me, a bunch of other people, and claimed this was not happened. Well, bitch, how the turns have tabled. Go ahead and click on that.
Absolutely.
Not only did it happen, there was a pending challenge for handing over the records, which has now, per the Superior Court of Arizona, been rejected. The records will, in fact, be handed over. Sucks to suck, bitch. The court finds the defendants have not established good cause for the requested relief. This is not a proper use of Rule 55D, asserted for the first time after 1, both parties agreed to a briefing schedule and date for an evidentiary hearing. 2, both parties filed their respective motions for summary judgment and responses to the opposing party's motion. 3, both parties appeared at the evidentiary hearing, presented evidence, and cross-examined. So they were literally showing up for evidentiary hearings and shit, and the AZ data gurus denying it even happened. This is how in full swing the propaganda is at this point. The court will not allow this gamesmanship to interfere with or jeopardize the integrity of these proceedings. So this is going forward. We're going to get a closer look at the Arizona election records from 2020. And in the immortal words of Lieutenant Diamond from my favorite film noir, The Big Combo, I'm going to open you up and I'm going to operate. And I just hate to know what I'm going to find. Freaking love that movie. So, folks, that's what's going. And again, I almost lost my channel reporting on this. Not that I don't appreciate it. This site is a fucking cesspit. But, and Adrian Fontes, actually, shoot, you want to go back to the other article? Real quick? Adrian Fontes was the guy, so I have to give a little bit of preamble for people who are not in Arizona. In 2016, so we've had sketchy elections for a number of years, but a lot of this malfeasance goes back to the year 2016. During the primaries, when Arizona normally, as you know, Taryn, when we do an election, we get a mailer in our mailbox that'll kind of give us a rundown of who's being voted on, what the measures are that's being voted on. And then on the back of it, or usually stamped on the envelope, will be the location that you're supposed to go vote. In other words, you have an assigned polling location. This is not uncommon. Every state's a little different, but a lot of states have assigned polling locations. So in 2016, out of the blue, Helen Purcell, who was the Maricopa County recorder and had been the Maricopa County recorder since what, like 1987 or something? Like she had been in that office forever. She suddenly, out of the blue, decides for this one primary only, we're going to not assign polling locations. You can vote wherever the hell you want. Now, that sounds fine, except that at the same time, she reasoned, well, because of that, we're going to shrink the amount of polling locations. And so you wound up with lines down the block. Literally, when I showed up, I went to a church and it was down the street and across the street at a light. People had to wait for the light to change to cross. And then down that street, I got interviewed by the Associated Press over it. So this was a total mess. So like a lot of this malfeasance starts there. And you kind of have to know this backstory. We had pretty good elections up until about 2016. Then 2018 was really sketchy with Kyrsten Sinema. 2020, obviously, we know what happened there. And 2022 was pretty sketchy too. But 2018 was the one where after Helen Purcell lost her job over that snafu. I mean, like I said, I got interviewed by the Associated Press. It was that big of a news story. She lost her job and she lost it to a gentleman named Adrian Fontes. And Adrian Fontes was the Maricopa County recorder for a while. Then he ascended to, I think he's Secretary of State now or something like he ascended to a higher office. I forget what his exact position is. I think he weighs in here on this in this article. So I had to give you guys a little bit of preamble.
Did you want me to try to find that?
Oh, yeah, if you could find. Oh, there we go. The records turned over to the FBI may also have contained voter information. Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, a Democrat, said in a statement that his office was working to identify legal options to secure personal voter information in the 2020 data that was shared. He essentially was fighting handing over the data. It's what's happened. Right here, which should surprise absolutely no one. Adrian Fontes, I covered the election between Martha McSally and Kyrsten Sinema. You remember that one? Where on election night, Martha McSally was ahead with 99% of precincts reporting, and what was supposed to be all of the mail-in ballots counted, she was ahead by 2 or 3 points. So it didn't look like Kyrsten Sinema could win. I mean, we went to bed thinking, oh, Martha McSally's the senator of Arizona, whatever. Wake up the next day, they're still counting. 99% of precincts reporting still. Over a week later, they're still counting. And Martha McSally's now only ahead by 1%. What's happening? A week and a half later, Kyrsten Sinema is declared the victor. Again, who's in charge of that election? Adrian Fontes. He finds 150,000 ballots that just happen to break for Kyrsten Sinema, like 80-20. I guess in the back of a Winnebago somewhere.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
really strange.
Elections in this state. Absolute clown show, dude. Unbelievable. Oh, guys. I'm sorry. We get talking about Arizona elections. I can't help myself. Attention, Bajoran workers. I banged Taryn's mother. That is all. Schadenkorp. Thoughts on Crenshaw being ousted. Woohoo! And also Brandon Herrera's win for Republican congressman. Also woohoo. I'm happy about both of those things. Crenshaw, man, I didn't realize he was so imperiled, but I'm glad. I'm really, really glad. Although it does look like the guy who beat him is kind of neocon too, isn't he? Have you looked into that at all, Darren?
No, all I know is that he got his ass whooped, and that's what counts.
So long, Eye Patch McCain. Good riddance, dude. Good riddance.
So long, flaccid snake.
We've been losing a lot of never Trumpers over the last couple of years. It must be said. Attention, Razor. I am Gulf Wentok of the Obsidian Order. This attack by the Federation upon Nimbus 3 was clearly at the behest of their Bajoran masters. Oy vey, walk with the prophets, child. Oh, let's see here. So if Iran attacks Cali, can we expect Trump to retaliate by glassing them? Probably. I mean, he kind of has. Sonic Boobers. Some people want to be disappointed because being a victim is easy. Wah, Trump. Wah, Israel. Wah, fucking wah. Stop crying. We did see this phenomenon after. This is one of the reasons I know this is an op that we're witnessing right now, because I observed it. I just talked about what happened in Arizona after 2018, after 2020, after 2022. After each of those elections, we got a tinier version of the same reaction we're seeing right now. The difference is this reaction comes after a victory. This is just an obvious op, Taryn. How do you feel about it? I haven't really taken your temperature on this, Taryn. How have you felt about the shit blizzard on social media? Do you feel it's astroturfed? Do you feel, and how do you think it's being shepherded, if so, or if at all?
So are you asking like all the
black pilling and
black
all
pilling? No,
on?
I think it was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? You were 100% correct. It's all astroturfed. It's all an attempt to just divide the right. At the same time, you noticed everything with Nick Fuentes happened, where he started tweeting out, "Hey, do you think you still feel confident in your vote for Trump? I wonder what would have happened if Kamala was out." That shit started happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel there's money behind it. Specific people are saying a little too much at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Trump finally endorsed Brandon Herrera. I mean, I guess he would have to. All right. GS Wolfwood. Speaking of Muhammad, looks like another one did his thing at Virginia's Old Dominion University. This one was from Sierra Leone, imprisoned for assisting ISIS, and got released in 2024 by Biden. Fantastic. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yet another no clear motive American. Eliani, I want to be Lutheran now. Just a forward to the freaking Quran. Thoughts on the Yoshi games? Godspeed. I've only played a few of them. What did I play?
I only ever played one. The one where the Mario and Luigi were babies. But Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island. I played Yoshi's Cookie back in the day. I think so. Yeah. Either a video game or the name of a Japanese porn. I don't know.
What?
Huh? Chewy Fernandez, you think Xi will pull the trigger on Taiwan?
I don't think he
is
can.
In a terrible, yeah, he's in a terrible position. He's been stockpiling oil, but he does not have enough oil to provide for every eventuality if he decides to move against Taiwan. I think it would be unwise. But at the same time, his window is closing, which is probably the main motivating factor in Trump acting against Iran right now. Because he recognized, okay, you've got to hit those oil supplies now, or it's going to be too late later, because Xi Jinping will have a big enough stockpile to be able to wait us out. So he's between a rock and a hard place. He kind of has to act very, very soon, but acting now is going to put him in almost the same position as Hitler, where one of the big reasons Hitler was stalled was because he relied heavily on blitzkrieg warfare. Blitzkrieg warfare ran on oil. He needed tons of oil for the mechanized infantry and such. And after a certain point, he ran out of oil because Goering wasn't able to secure enough barrels ahead of the war. He was sent out all over the place to procure oil, and he did what he could, but he wasn't able to stockpile enough for the German war machine. Xi Jinping doesn't want to wind up in that same situation. So he's very much between a rock and a hard place. Draco, remember when people argued the terrible Obama economy was actually cleaning up Bush's economy and Biden's bad economy is just cleaning up Trump's mess? That spurgy crowd's awful quiet lately. It is weird the extent to which, I mean, I've always been willing to at least entertain a degree of that. I don't think every single president who comes in office is necessarily dealing with economic headwinds of their own making. Heck, sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the previous administration. Maybe it's just what's in the air. Maybe banking institutions made a bad choice. Maybe, it could be any number of things. It could be a geopolitical thing that had nothing to do with the president, right? And so I'm willing to at least entertain that. But when you see it habituated that many times, yeah, it's a narrative. It's a narrative and a rationale. That's all it is. No clear motive American with a shirt in a foreign language called English that said property of Allah, whoever that is, probably a code word for Trump. I bet it was.
Oh, that guy too. That happened this past week too.
It sure did. Hey, speaking of Allah Americans, you don't happen to have a Hassan clip this week?
Why? I'm so happy you asked.
What? Is it? Is it time for our favorite segment?
It's time. It's time.
It's time for the game show sensation that's sweeping the nation. It's the Hassan Piker is a fucking retard minute.
When you press a button, something awesome has to happen.
Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
It's never not going to be funny.
It never gets old. What are we looking at? What is this?
So, Hassan asked iShowSpeed, streaming sensation, to go on a flotilla with him to lend aid to the people of Cuba.
What?
And Speed didn't get back to him.
Oh no! He's not going to ride the raft with Cuba Pete. That's a shame. I guess he doesn't feel like washing up on Cuban shores and a bunch of taped together Corona boxes.
Big vibes of what's that bitch's name who went on her little private yacht with her friends to go to Palestine.
Yeah.
What's Gertrude? What's the fuck? Why am I missing out on her name right now?
What are you talking about?
I shouldn't be up here.
Oh yeah, Greta.
The
one who's been pretending to be 15 years old for the last 20.
Yeah. Let's watch, won't we?
Because there's obviously somewhat of a communication blackout from American media as far as like their everyday existence of Cubans. You can just go to Cuba. Like even right now, you can just go to fucking Cuba. Okay. And people don't even know that.
Whoa.
Invite iShowSpeed. Genuinely, I asked.
People don't know travel exists.
It would have been great.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Invite iShowSpeed. Genuinely, I asked. He did not respond. It would have been great. No, he going on vacation as a gentrifying colonizer. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Exactly.
The frequency with which his own audience pons his ass is brilliant, dude.
It's amazing.
It's absolutely brilliant. It happens all the time, bro. Happens all the time. I love that he didn't return his message. He actually got, what is that called? Bigging? Is it called bigging?
I don't know what that is. No.
When someone thinks they're too big to respond to you.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no. I mean, I know the phenomenon. I'm not familiar with the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
so there's a flotilla that's going over there. What is this?
Oh, it's bringing humanitarian aid, allegedly.
Wait a minute. Why do they need humanitarian aid? I thought communism worked, Hassan. What's going on? What do they need aid for?
It's capitalism's fault.
I see.
See, Trump fucking with Venezuela is what's causing Cuba to be like this for the past few decades. But, somehow Trump's fault,
Right. Yes, exactly. It's a shame. Hopefully his ship doesn't go down. We'll bury him in a communist plot. I don't. Folks,
Bury
that
him
was
next
the,
to Marx.
but and you know, if this dude suffered an untimely death at sea or something, they would charge for you to visit his grave, like Marx. I guarantee you.
They sell shirts.
Yes. I say the guy should go. I say the guy should. Who is he, by the way? Speed isn't he like a pro gamer?
I show Speed started out as like a variety streamer. He was he's very charismatic. I'll put it that way. And
which is a rarity online.
And he's been like traveling around the world. He did the whole China tour.
Oh, he took the CCP money.
Yeah. But of course, he's not. I wouldn't call him political. Yeah. They probably just said, "Hey, here's some money. Come to China," and he was like, "Cool, I get to go to China. Awesome."
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just another one of those loud streamers. Does a lot of shit. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, very popular amongst the kids these days.
Well, I go ahead and live your best life, Hassan. Go on your flotilla. He's actually going to be on the flotilla. He's going to go over there.
We'll see.
That's planned.
I don't know if he's planned it, but
and while the U.S. has active armed naval assets at sea, that's.
Yeah, go, Hassan.
Dude, would it be great if that was like the week Trump attacked Cuba?
Go meet the president, Hassan.
Yes, live your best life, Hassan. Live your best. Actually, I've got some advice for Hassan. Are you ready for this, Taryn?
Dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, and fuck like a goddamn retard.
I saw the word retard.
Ask the president to stay at the palace with him.
Yes! Fantastic.
Sleep in the bedroom right next to him.
All right. Here we go. Star Phoenix. Funny enough, the Allahu Americans family came from Afghanistan. Runs a convenience store, you don't say. I thought it would be an investment bank. And owns a $2.5 million home. Really makes you think. How do you wind up with a $2.5 million home when you run a convenience store? Was it maybe like a Leering Center convenience store?
Yeah. How many people are registered to live at that convenience store?
I begin to wonder. I wonder how many hyphenated names are on that lease. Major spike 9,000 in my neck of the woods. We've been getting 70 to 90 mile per hour winds. Yeah, but only when Hassan speaks. It was so bad today that my patio coffee table was lifted onto the roof. The cover acted like a parachute. The table's made of antique wood, I think he means. That sucks.
I mean, teak is a thing, but I don't know.
Oh, teak wood. I see what you mean. Sorry. All right. Is Israel safe? I'm seeing a lot of possible propaganda. Do you think Israel has actually been taking damage from missiles? Apparently there was one missile that did like peripheral damage to an apartment building.
Yeah, it was like an apartment or a hotel.
Yeah.
It landed like right in front.
The AI images that the internet's favorite head trauma patient, Jake Shields, was sharing, those were AI. Fucking retard. Fucking speaking of fucking like a retard. How about just an old plain fucking retard, Jake Shields? What the fuck, dude? Greta Thunberg and Hassan have joined forces. I shouldn't be out here. I should be in school. Is Hassan going to steal her childhood with his empty words?
Yes, her childhood of 20 years ago.
She said a childhood for freaking 2 decades. Crocodile 90. Hey, Razor, since DS9 will run out of episodes to deep dive on, how about playing the Star Trek Voyager game? From what I've seen, It seems like a combo of Ixion and Fallout Shelter in the best way could be a good stream game. The new one. The new one. Yeah, I played the demo. It was fun. It was like a cool little veg out kind of game. I did see Panda was saying freaking low ping. He was saying that the bad thing about it is you can just beat it by, following the regular storyline in the show, right? That's the problem with it, really, is there's no curveballs, which is a shame.
That's the problem I had with the I saw somebody streaming the Indiana Jones game, the circle, whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole stealth thing, like sneaking around, hiding body, completely pointless. You can run straight through the game.
Oh yeah.
Does not matter.
Yeah. It's funny. I was being all autistic about the stealth when I was streaming it. Once I played the game offline, I was like, oh shit. Like that stealth is optional isn't even the word. Like it's a complete adjunct. It's
you
totally
can
pointless.
Raise all the alarms you want, beat up people or not beat up people. Just get to the next point. Doesn't matter.
You have people glazing the live action One Piece. Oh
What?
my. That's a shame. That's a shame. Jack White, the only upcoming Netflix show I'm looking forward to is Detective Hole, a series adaptation of the Harry Hole books. Okay. President Irina Vladimirovna. Why does it seem like so many people can't fathom that we have multiple enemies? It's like people can't fathom simultaneously being against Sharia law, communists, and Noahide law. Okay. Noahide. I don't know. Happy ex voto Les Night game for the 5 people that remembered it launched today. Did you see the concurrent player count on that?
Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
DOA, dude. That game. Every year, there's a few games that get released that are just Game Awards bait. That's all they are. For the Games for Impact. That's all that shit is. You remember that Dragon Cancer and Concord and all that shit. Nobody plays them. They just they collect the Games for Impact award, the Game of Years at the awards every year, rather.
Someone should go back, let's say 5 or 6 years, and look at the games that have been announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah, right.
And count how many have been absolute bombs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then you look back at the Game Awards, and there's always these weird ones where you're like, that shit won Game of the Year. You know what I mean? Like you look back and it's like you're waking up out of a haze after a college bender or something. Like, really? I barely even remember that game existed, let alone that it was Game of the Year. Right? Like, dude, are you ready for Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year? Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
What were we on? What the hell was happening? What is wrong with people? I mean, it's not a terrible game. It was better than Dragon Age 2, that's for sure. But...
Not this last year, but the year before. Did that other awful Dragon Age game win anything? The recent one.
Oh, no. Maybe Games for Impact. I wouldn't think so.
I think it got like 1 award, maybe. Maybe somebody in the chat could refresh my memory.
Yeah. All right, Costanza. Who bribed a U.S. congressman in the 21st century? That's a joke. The Jews. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the Marouks. The correct answer is the Marouks.
Veilguard, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the fuck it was called.
The dumbest name. Dumbest freaking name. All right. You'd think New York would be wary of Mamdani and the no-motive Americans after 9/11. They'll virtue signal pretty much any vote. On the topic of China, do you think they'll ever be free of communism in our lifetime, or will they remain communist? Never underestimate a communist state's capacity to collapse. We thought, dude, right up until the weeks before perestroika and the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of Soviet communism, we were still getting propaganda in American media about how the Soviet Union was stronger economically than we were. So don't, just because you think now there's a narrative about China is the future and China's doing way better than we are and look how much more moral they are and how much better their economy is, don't think for a second any of that is real. Don't. You don't necessarily have to doubt all of it or assume the opposite is true, but if you were alive back then, or even if you weren't, if you just go back and do some research, there was a lot of propaganda about how the Soviet Union was strong. All right. Thoughts on local fuel prices. I filled up my car the other day. It's still not too bad here. So I'm not too worried about it.
And we should be seeing a drop here pretty soon.
Quasimofo. I remember those things. You would look inside the paper to see when the motion picture show was playing, and you would get in your Studs Bearcat to go see it, right?
No joke. I still remember my parents looking in the newspaper for the local theater times.
Oh, I did that all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to actually read reviews of movies after they came out to see if they were worth seeing. That's why I went to go see Underworld, actually, back in the day. Got a shitty review from a reviewer that I hated, so I assumed it was good. And I was right. Big Mike, new Ayatollah of Iran gone. They're going to run out of cardboard at this rate.
Did you see
oil
that
shortage, paper shortage.
You see that the Photoshop Marco Rubio on the couch, and next to him is a cardboard Ayatollah?
Right. Drone strike California, I can only get so hard. Side note, have you seen the absurdly hilarious AI propaganda Iran has been releasing as threats, dude? Have you, Taryn? The AI videos from Iran?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned one last time. The fucking B-2 bomber flying in the air, and it's completely on fire. Smoke is billowing out the back.
Yep. Let's see here. Let me grab one for you to read real quick.
Certainly. Star Phoenix. At least with the kiddie pool, I could feasibly do the 1 hour snorkel without the snorkel to get away from the mortal coil. Not so with this book.
All right. Here we go.
Matthew Hammond. Didn't gaming take a nosedive as gaming went HD?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Development time went up because of higher graphics, resolution.
It cost more and whatever. Although, with modern development tools, it really should be cheaper at this point. I mean, you see people every now and then, it's like a 3-man team, if that, and it's perfectly AAA quality graphics on some of these games. It's really the other stuff. It's the features and such that take all the time and manpower. Go ahead and read that.
Jack White, there's another game series you guys should live stream. Resistance. I don't know you can get it anywhere else. Is it like on PlayStation now? Can you get it on the PS5? I mean, it doesn't really matter. We don't have PlayStation 5, so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Nick Malt. Hey, Razor, have you ever played Gothic? If so, what are your thoughts on the series? Personally, it is my favorite third-person RPG.
I have played it, and I think it's freaking rad. I think it's rad. That new Knight's Path game is very reminiscent of Gothic. But yeah, I dig Gothic. I have never streamed it or done a review of it, but I really, really dig it. That was one of those, little series that popped up and kind of just went away after a while,
Dreadnought Logan. You're a real bad influence on me, Razor. I'm making an effort to do the Lord's Prayer every day now. I blame you for this.
Just wait until I get you doing the Apostles' Creed along with it. Then it's a short walk. Every single morning I wake up, Apostles' Creed, Lord's Prayer, Martin Luther morning prayer. And then before I go to bed, Apostles' Creed, Lord's Prayer, Martin Luther prayer. Just wait, I'll corrupt you yet.
We got a few over on Rumble.
Yeah.
Sky Shrimp. Groypers are as anti-American as the left and are cuck-publicans.
Yep.
Going to do anything about Muslims and Islam in America. Personally, Islam should be banned in the U.S. No mosques, no praying in the streets.
Interesting.
And he continues, all foreign entities should be banned from buying American land. People forget there's more than one way to sell out to the American people. Sell out the American people.
Yeah. Marushia Dark, look up self-determination of nations in the Ayn Rand lexicon. Even she argued that nations have a right, though not a duty, to remove dictators. I've pointed that out before. Actually, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. I've got it right here. I'll bring it up on screen, in fact. This has always been one of the things. Ayn Rand gets name-checked by lulberts a lot, especially when you get into anti-war territory. And I don't think people realize Ayn Rand was not a lulbert and, in fact, hated them. She hated Murray Rothbard while she was alive, called him a plagiarist and shit. Quote, a nation that violates the rights of its own citizens cannot claim any rights whatsoever. The right of the self-determination of nations applies only to free societies or to societies seeking to establish freedom. It does not apply to dictatorships. Dictatorship nations, she wrote, are outlaws. She believed any free nation had the right to invade Nazi Germany and the right to invade Soviet Russia, Cuba, or any other slave pen. This is the woman Rand Paul pretends to be speaking for nowadays. Ayn Rand was based on this kind of shit. And she's just right. Communists deny the very concept of national borders. Communist China at this very moment denies the very idea that the United States is sovereign. They do not believe we even have a border, which is why they feel completely morally freed to pay off our politicians, try to erode our border, in short, to move drugs across our border, to help move illegal aliens across our border. They don't believe we have a right to one, right? So Ayn Rand was essentially saying, fight fire with fire. Fuck these assholes. And it's one of the more based writings of Ayn Rand. Again, I have a lot of respect for Ayn Rand. I do not agree with her on everything. Obviously, I'm a Christian. She was irreligious. But I do like that one speech she gave really right towards the end of her life. I want to say it was one of her last public appearances where she was asked about the phrase, God bless America. And she said, obviously, I do not believe in God, but if ever the name God were to be invoked in a positive way, it would be when I say right now, God bless America. Right? It was like the most Ayn Rand moment ever. It was actually pretty cool. If the Soviet Union was economically stronger, they wouldn't have collapsed like a house of cards made of paper. Exactly. I learned today that Canada is the only country in the G7 that doesn't have emergency oil reserves. How does my country continue to exist? At the by your leave of China.
And us too. I mean, remember all the Trumps and all the tariffs Trump put on them, and they suffered like almost immediately.
I think Dragon Age 2 is much too maligned. That's a take. It has the best cast of the 3 Dragon Age games. There's another take, a wrong take. Dragon Age Origins has the best story, and Inquisition isn't Veilguard. Yeah, no, the cast in Dragon Age 2 is way better. The freaking Dragon Age 2 is 31 flavors of quirky. That's the whole cast. Ooh, it's my nervous talking freaking elf mage chick. It's the slutty slut pirate chick who every single conversation is about boners and vaginas. Wow. What a great character. significant. Oh, hey, it's the sarcastic, annoying dwarf who's in every single game. Like, oh my God. Oops. Julio, thank you for the 100. Razor, about that 80 to 90% percentage. Why do many websites say only 13 to 14% imported from Iran? Do you mean Iran sells 80 to 90% of its oil to China? Because the 13-14%, I believe, is the amount moving through the strait. I've looked into this a little bit. I believe it's the amount that moves through the strait. This has been a talking point recently because, of course, the strait is a big point of contention. Shoot, I just retweeted a story where a oil tanker or whatever just got shit hammered by Iran. It was actually kind of a friendly fire incident or whatever. Hey guys, went on to Twitter today. Feeling suicidal, are you? You wouldn't believe the amount of brain dead lefties who think they've cracked open the Trump false flag attack on California. It was embarrassing to watch.
What?
All right. Will there be a video on BuzzFeed's closure? If BuzzFeed closes and no one's around to read it, who cares? Fuck Buzz. Remember what a big freaking deal they were a minute ago, though? Isn't that crazy just how quickly these obviously artificially amplified websites just wither up the moment the freaking ESG cash blows away? Do you notice this again and again? Is there any doubt at this point that BuzzFeed had a benefactor outside who was funding them basically to just boost propaganda?
Oh,
is there any doubt?
Many such cases.
Dude, Jezebel, dude? Absolute Gawker. There was a whole genre.
Baby burn.
There were a whole genre of websites. By the way, rest in piss, escapist. William Gray, help us, USA. Canada's going off a cliff, and the liberal boomers keep saying elbows up out of spite for the bad orange man. Such hypocrites. Party of tolerance then say, too bad the sniper missed. Now, they are in good company on that one. Don't worry. Captain Crazy Kelso from 1941 will save Hollywood. Iranian Shahed drones have a range of up to 1,500 miles. Plenty of range to launch from Seattle to hit LA. All right, here we go. Real quick, most reports are saying the new dead man Khamenei is in a coma and is missing a leg from the first wave of strikes. Also, the recent picture is AI. We already know about the cardboard. All right. Right. Really? Ann Coulter, that's horribly offensive to Seabiscuit. Nay, good sir. How dare Iran threaten to improve the cleanliness of California? China isn't even visiting this time of year. VTuber called Pippa used Cameo to get a message to a former CIA guy who was set to appear on Hassan's show. She warned him about Hassan, so the CIA guy bailed. Ooh, that's good trolling right there. That's next level.
Her cameo? No, it would be he was running a cameo and she paid for one, but that warned him about Hassan.
That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
That's good. That's solid trolling, is it not? Solid.
Good on her.
I gotta go soon because my dog is staring me down. He needs to go outside.
Father, why do you deny me food, Father?
Buddy, I know. The Iranian drone pilot. Sorry, we don't all have shock collars on our pooch, so I can't just pray the gay away on him real quick. The Iranian drone pilot is fake news by ABC, who omitted the part that the FBI received an unverified tip. That said, Iran did try to psyop the support for Californian independence back in 2020. Interesting. Very interesting. Iranian drone operator pre-mission. I used to bullseye tuna eaters back home.
You can hear Cicero in the background.
I know. Did you hear him whine?
Yeah.
Oh, Cicero. Okay, two more, and we'll get out of here. You can read the rest of these tomorrow on tomorrow night's stream. I apologize if we don't get to it tonight. This stream is going to stay up though, so don't worry if you guys donated earlier. Hey, Razor, have you ever read the supposed letter written by Albert Pike in 1871 predicting the 3 world wars? Thoughts? Accurate or fabricated via con Dios? The idea of predicting 3 world wars being super novel is not that crazy. It's not that crazy. Like in the Victorian era, people were predicting weird sci-fi shit. I mean, I think people even forget that like War of the Worlds takes place in the Gilded Age, which I've always wanted to see that movie, by the way, a version of War of the Worlds that takes place in the 1880s or whenever it was supposed to take place originally. That would have been awesome. Like the
BBC has tried like twice in the past, I want to say 6 years.
Yeah.
And I think one of them was sort of Victorian, but it was modernized.
Yeah.
So, let's just say a few things were out of place.
Was there a strong, independent Victorian woman who didn't need no mans? Was there?
Because we don't know how to access the master list, let me read the last 3 remaining Rumble rants here.
Please do, and I'll double check on Streamlabs.
Ultros, Hassan wants guest, but is getting turned left and right. He tried to get a former CIA whistleblower, but Pippo warned the CIA guy. And
no, you got it right the first time.
Shot down Hassan's offer on Hassan's stream. Absolutely. Oh my God. If there's a clip of that
on his stream.
Ultros continues. Razor, Shia LaBeouf said that Martin Luther would be in hell. I noticed on X and online that Cadtrats really hate Luther and consider him responsible for secularism.
That's why it's so hilarious. A lot of Roman Catholics are this weird place of they hate all the low church heresies, right? Like the goofy laser lights and fog machines and Hillsong worship and all that stuff. And they hate the female pastors and the people who don't believe in real presence in the Eucharist. They believe it's just symbolic, and baptism's just an outward profession of an inward change and all that stuff. But the person they hate more than that is the guy who didn't do any of that stuff. It's Martin Luther, right? The Lutheran church is like halfway to being Catholic, more than halfway to being Catholic. You go to a Lutheran service, it just looks like a Catholic mass. We literally, if you read the Augsburg Confession, at one point, Philip Melanchthon says, we have been accused of abolishing the mass. Quite to the contrary, we not only observe the mass, we observe elements of the mass that Rome no longer does, which is true, by the way. Rome had, by the time of the Reformation, there were literal Roman Catholic priests who already had taken a representational view of the Eucharist. Martin Luther talks about being at the Vatican and witnessing a mass, attending a mass, and the priest is at the altar, and he says, and as you do, and Jesus took the bread and broke it and said, "This is my body." And then he turned to the laity. The priest turns to the laity and says, "But we know it's not really his body. It's a representation of his body." And then he continues, and then he took the wine and he said, "Take this and drink. This is my blood. But we know it's not really my blood. It's just representation," right? So this is one of the reasons Martin Luther hates Calvin so much, is because he's recognizing the same heresy that he saw in Rome, right? So it's a great irony, really. Lutherans don't fall prey to the heresies of the low church, but man, do Catholics hate Luther. They hate his freaking guts. Even though objectively, historically judged, the Reformation doesn't happen if the Pope doesn't try to make an example of Luther. If he just left him alone, probably there's no Reformation. Luther didn't start the Reformation. The Pope did, really, objectively. Let's see here. Oh, shit. Here we go. Ika Pike, I was a playtester on Godfather the game. Hell yeah. 1, 2, and Saboteur. Vito was an okay sound alike. Michael felt like they were trying to adapt the novel more, and your created character is the one who does Fredo. That's badass. That's really cool that you did the Saboteur. I love the Saboteur. We freaking streamed that game so many times. What a great swan song that was for Pandemic Studios. And we'll do one more, and then we'll get out of here. Don't worry. We still have your super chats. We'll do 2 more after this because I do have to get to Streamlabs. Look at all that variety in 2006. No sandbox slop. Thank you, Jegs. Dino God. Raja, are we sure Terangel isn't actually Tehrangel? Where do his loyalties really lie? Give us a quick. Yeah. Matthew Hammond, BuzzFeed has said it has substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a business. Welcome to the club of the most of us. And that is it for Streamlabs. So, folks, thank you for those of you who joined us. I know this was kind of a late stream. Sorry we have to end quickly, but my dog is pestering the crap out of me. But we will, of course, be uploading that Babylon 5 versus DS9 video tomorrow, the long-awaited debunking of the plagiarism allegations. And for Terangel, I am Razorfist. Keep an eye out for those videos and tomorrow's stream. And until next time, don't get captured and Godspeed.
RazörForce.